He'll boot him inside 50, looking for Ellis. Too far for him. Pettigrew did okay at the back. In hard was Slattery. Ball up inside 50. And we just tick into the first minute and a half of this match.
Lindsay with the palm down and now making the tackle, the big man. And Luke Norman just taken to ground and down now to the Westies bench.
For the Bloods, Ross Glover and Scott Lewis are on the bench. Also with Chris Chubb, a bit of a surprise considering how strong the Eagles are up forward. They've one of their key defenders, Chubb, sitting on the bench.
Westbrook off the right foot, long and direct, and just a minor score to open the scoring for the Eagles and the scoring for the match.
There's some nice work by David Westbrook, just winning the ball from the clearance, snap at goal, and just unfortunately for him, a little bit to the right.
Handy player Westbrook is terrific for them last year. From the kick out, Dre, who's been in and out of the side over the last few years, to Pettigrew, who's got to get around a couple, but he's good enough. Good mover is Pettigrew, just draws the man over the top. Norman has to evade. Terrific tackle by Peter Fiarchi. Ball picked up by Inkster, kicked inside 50, and fortuitously it lands with Dale Ellis, who's on the Port Adelaide Power rookie list. He'll go back and shoot for goal.
Michael Pettigrew certainly took the chance there. Probably the handball put Luke Norman under the pressure a little bit, and the ball was turned over. His direct opponent, Dale Ellis, sitting back on his own, should convert a fairly easy opportunity.
Normally a pretty good kick for goal, Dale Ellis. From 35, directly in front, straight over the goal umpire's hat. The Eagles are on the board. They get the first goal of the match.
Yeah, good goal. Dale Ellis has been one of the key forwards for the Eagles, and as we see in the replay there, the pressure provided by the Eagles forwards, a quick kick back, and there's Ellis all on his own, able to go back and convert easily for the first goal of the match to the Eagles.
And the only forward entries have been made by the Eagles at the moment, and although they haven't dominated possession, they've certainly been forcing Westies back all the way. Ben Marsh could have been penalised then, took his eyes off the ball, but eventually got a handle on it. Now inside 50 with the kick. There's holding going on, and the free kick's been picked out, and Wiggins will take the free kick.
Go down, mate, go down.
And a shake of the head there from his opponent in Fergus Watts. So Patrick Wiggins from 51 metres, boots it long and away to the left, and just sneaks inside that behind post for the minor score.
Certainly a big man, Patrick Wiggins. 196 centimetres tall and weighing 105 kilos, so he's certainly going to be a real presence around that forward line for West Adelaide.
Yes, from Glenorchy in Tasmania, originally Patrick Wiggins, brother of Simon Wiggins, who plays for Carlton in the AFL. Good kick out, spots up Fergus Watts at half back. Playing across half back for the Eagles, has done pretty well for them. Kicks to the wing. Oh, surely a free kick in the back, and the beneficiary there will be Slattery, who really did keep his eyes on the football. Plenty of courage there from Charles Slattery. He's creeping around a bit on the mark. The umpire hasn't called play on yet. Right on the wing. Had the wind taken out of him. Shorts it up to Marsh, who's been a welcome addition back to the Bloods lineup, coming back from Richmond. He'll boot it inside 50. Good looking kick. No one can quite take it. Prokopek, good handball. Away to Nathan. Nathan's handball's just loose. In goes Howard. Had the lock shorn completely off. In they go again. No one can come out with it. And that was Dragicevic, who's taken to the ground by Justin Cicolello, one of the best tacklers in the competition.
There's some great pressure there by the Eagles back, but not letting West Adelaide get clear and able to cause the ball up right on the 50-metre line.
A lot of players around this ball. Marsh cleverly down to Purchase, who got it to Paul Pleasure. Good play by, I think it's Malinovsky, throws it on the boot. Good looking kick. Bloods have their first. He is a slippery customer, Malinovsky. A little bit underrated, but he does tend to get a lot of the ball still.
Well, that was fantastic, wasn't it? And we talked about Ben Marsh. We just missed it in the replay there, but just Ben Marsh's deft touch around the forward line with that ruck clearance, giving it to West Adelaide, and just a great snap around the body for the first goal of the Bloods.
That's what he does very well, Nick Malinovsky, known as an opportunist forward. That's a good start for him this afternoon. And a good start to the contest. 7 points apiece. And Marsh and Lindsay go at it again and again. Marsh just able to... Well, there's a free kick being picked out in favour of Lindsay.
Interesting decision,
Eagles.
that one, wasn't it? It was both players probably not keeping their eye on the ball, but didn't seem to make any contact. But the umpire found a free kick. It looks like it's gone to
Matthew Stokes. It's very puzzling that. I think I can only judge that was actually not because of the ruck contest, as the ball goes inside 50 for the Eagles towards the boundary line. Dre handballing it in front of Slattery, content to let it go over about 48 metres around from the goal face.
Eyes up the footy here, guys. Good start. Let's keep it up.
Communication coming from the umpires as we wait for that throw in front of that scoreboard, which shows it's 7 points apiece. And Marsh and Lindsay mauling each other. Ball comes to ground with neither touching it, and now we'll get a ball up just outside defensive 50 for West Adelaide.
Good to see the umpires actually letting the two ruckmen push and shove each other around a bit, and they've let a few go. Let's hope they're consistent for the whole match.
Lindsay, that time he got the paw down. Dragosevic, his kick was smothered. Comes out of Fiachi. Fiachi off the left foot, up in front of goals. Flying was Ellis, ball to ground. Westies with the numbers, no. In comes Colville, the red-headed captain of Woodville, West Torrens at least. Hands it off, Stevens over the top. Ellis in trouble, gone. Umpire says play on, and eventually they come in and ball it up. Plenty in the crowd thought maybe he didn't dispose of the ball correctly.
I would have thought holding the ball would have been a decision there. A great tackle by Michael Pettigrew.
Thought he might have had prior opportunity. McKenzie didn't, but the ball flicked out. Passador, good clean pickup, goes to Stokes. Stokes just screws it back to the hot spot for Dre, who's had a couple of touches for West Adelaide. A Dow defender takes the mark. Stokes needed a little bit more penetration on that left boot. Couldn't quite get it around. Dre hasn't much on offer, so he just decides to pump it long, hoping for a mark by Wiggins. Standing his ground was Norman. Umpire screams, call it out. Get it out, I should say. Malinovsky in there. And the umpire gave them ample opportunity to knock that ball out. They tend to be letting the play just go a little bit this year, Stephen, just to try and let the players flick it out.
Yeah, which is not a bad thing. The umpire's giving the players the opportunity to sort themselves out.
Marsh, who is doing well in the palming stakes, but sharked by Powell, tries for another go at it. Malinovsky, bit of pace. He'll gain about 45 metres for his team if it rolls out. It doesn't. Watts, and beautifully blocked over the top by Paul Pleasure. Lovely defensive work by the former Adelaide Crow.
Nick Malinovsky certainly a live wire around the packs, and had 2 or 3 possessions already looking dangerous for Westies.
Well, Ben Marsh has had the better of the ruck duels so far. Lindsay hasn't really been able to get it. They both get a piece of that. Howard can't get through. Paul Pleasure also. Powell gets it to Colville. Eagles build up to half forward. Passador's the target. Over the top of him, Illman and Stevens. Illman shows a bit of nimble skills. Stokes and Purchase. Stokes just fell on. Good enough to get it out to Stevens. He's right on 50, Mark Stevens. Goes for a vacant goal square and just misses to the right-hand side. Don't give Mark Stevens too many opportunities inside 50. He normally gets them.
Yeah, nice work there by Matthew Stokes, able to win the tough ball and get it out to Mark Stevens, and probably should have finished that one off, a player of his calibre.
Stevens, what's the old saying? Poetry in slow motion then. He took his time, just couldn't finish off. Kick comes out, Passador dropped their head as the ball went over his hands. Another ball on the ground, looked like that was in the back. Still they fight on. Stevens fighting his way through, comes back to him. Nice little between the legs move, and then McKenzie finds Westbrook. He's already kicked a point. Westbrook just slides it into the forward line to the advantage of, well, not really, to Ellis. Treby captured. Ellis receives a hand pass outside 50, looks inside 50, and the kick was perfect. And Powell was on the lead and took the chest mark.
Yeah, just really good awareness by Dale Ellis. Knew he had probably a couple of seconds and saw the lead. Great lead by Luke Powell and lovely kick by Dale Ellis.
45-degree angle, 25 metres out. You wouldn't have thought that this should be too difficult for Powell. What breeze there is perhaps slightly into his face. Goal umpire well to his left, and in the end, just a minor score. Disappointing result for the Eagles.
Yes, that's probably 2 opportunities now that the Eagles should have had goals on the board, but just not able to convert. And looking at their statistics, they're the worst conversion side in the competition so far this season.
Jericho with the football finds Dragicevic, who goes to Pettigrew, who loves to go for a run. Good enough to get the handball away. Good pressure by the Eagles forwards. Taken by Fiachi to Powell. Powell had Inkster, decided to load up a thumping long bomb. And was it touched on the line? I think it might have just made it for a goal. Oh, that's not a bad kick by Powell, just off pretty much a single step.
Yeah, we talked about how disappointing Luke Powell's last attempt on goal was, but from probably 45, 50 metres with a bit of pressure around him, just a nice kick around the body, put it up in the air, and as we saw, not a lot of wind today, and that one just floated through over the line. Good decision by the goal umpire.
Not too many doubts about that one. In fact, no doubts about that one. It was clearly over the line. Margin 8 points in favour of the Eagles. 12 minutes into the opening quarter. And that time both ruckmen just took their eye off the ball again. Not prepared to jump at the moment. I mean, Cicolella just got that loose kick out for the Eagles. Stokes attacked it. On the ground, Floriani. Ball away from him. Numbers favour West Adelaide. Purchase an excellent hand pass forward to Marsh. The big man inside 50 with the kick. Wiggins the target. One grab, bounced off his chest. Under pressure now. Watts did well. And the umpire will call for a ball up as Fergus Watts looks up and says, well, hang on, it's either holding the ball or perhaps deliberately out of bounds.
Neil Ronnie Fuller already making a change. David Westbrook off for a spell. Vinnie Rugolo onto the ball.
One of the real highlights of SANFL footy, just those one-on-one contests, and that was a great contest by those two players.
Marsh to the front, nice tap. Wiggins off the ground was excellent. Can't ask for more than that from the big man.
No, that was great, wasn't it? Ben Marsh, once again, just his ability to get the front position and hit the ball into the areas of danger for West Adelaide. And Patrick Wiggins, for a guy his size to be that nimble, just shows what a quality player he's going to be for West Adelaide this season.
He's booted a bag of 6 so far this year, Patrick Wiggins. And he will be a player they can rely on up forward. They've missed Bradshaw the last year or so, but Wiggins will present pretty well for them. Play a little bit further up the ground, but gets quite deep and can hurt you.
Yeah, just because of his athletic ability, just runs all over the forward line, makes him very dangerous.
Clearance important. Poor Pleasure, normally good. Rugolo will get his first touch of the match. Kicks inside 50, and it's a ripper. Inkster on the end of it. Might be just on the edge of his distance, Inkster. Just goes to a goal square, and it might just go through. Well, he was pretty casual, Tim Inkster. Went back and thought he just tried to kick that to the top of the square, but it floated through for a goal.
Yeah, real live wire forward, isn't he? He complements the other taller Eagles forwards. He's a terrific mark overhead, but he has the ability to win the thrumming contest as well. And a lot of goals last week and looking dangerous again this week.
Gee, and that forward, or that clearance from the centre, important.
It was. It looked like Paul Pleasure would clear the ball, but because of that hard wicket area, the bounce just eluded him. The Eagles were able to win possession. Just a nice, classy movement out. Gave them the opportunity to kick their third goal.
The margin 8 points again in favour of the Eagles, and let's watch the dance that's going to go on between the two ruckmen again. Rugolo to the left and Norman, two hard nuts at it. There they go again. That time it was Lindsay who got the paw to the ball. Piacenti, hand pass out. Well done, cleverly by Marsh. The kick wasn't the best. Wiggins comes, it's over his head. Finally it bounces his way. Wiggins goes for a kick when maybe a hand pass was on there. Play on. Prokopek wasn't able to get it, and ball on the ground. Still stumbles through. Block the hand pass over the head. Westies now with a chance to work it through. Cicolella says, I'll have none of that. And the umpire says, I'll have the ball. Tim Pfeiffer, the umpire, coming in there. Just have another look at Luke Powell's goal, and that's goal umpire Cam, and demonstrating beautifully that that was a correct decision from the goal umpire. Westies with an opportunity and a high tackle. Free kick will go to Luke Nathan. So he'll look up inside that forward 50. A couple of players up there, one of them Wiggins, of course. He's been good so far in this match. Wiggins up in front, provides a beautiful target, ball to ground. And McKenzie was trapped and holding the ball to the umpire. He tried to slap it down onto his boot in the tackle, but to no avail. The umpire ruling that that was a free kick. Wiggins there. There's a change being made, so does.
Yeah, skipper Luke Norman in game number 100, coming off for a break at 33 years of age. He'd no doubt need that today. Coming on in his second game, Scotty Lewis.
plenty of room in the West Adelaide forward line too for Patrick Wiggins to lead into, so that's probably something that the Eagles on-ballers need to push back and cover those spaces.
And the kick was spot on from
David Piasanti, I think that was, in his 50th game, so he'll be very happy to slot that one through from a fairly tight angle and get his 50th game off to a great start.
In my own defence, a little bit different looking this season is Piasanti.
Yes, he certainly let the hair go a bit, got a bit of product in it, but certainly a lovely goal.
Might have been in the weights room too, David Piasanti. Looks like he's bulked up around the biceps. Lovely kick by Piasanti.
Same again, Mackie.
21 plays 19. Back in the middle. O'Hara on the ball for the Eagles. Passador clean bowled him. Jericho. Just a handball in hope. Rugolo. A lot of players around the ball. Rugolo needs to get it out of there and can't do so. And another bounce. Ellis versus Pettigrew will be a beauty all afternoon. Pedler and Prokopek, they haven't really tangled yet, but that'll be a beauty. And Watson Wiggins have already shown us that they're going to have a good duel. O'Hara, a couple of good palming ruckmen in there at the moment. It's flicked out to Floriani. Floriani forward, and a good mark by Stevens in front of Illman. We've got an education this afternoon, Matt Illman, when he's playing against the experienced Mark Stevens. Sikalella, haven't called him too much so far. He's a punishing right foot kick from outside 50. The spear to Inkster is top shelf stuff, and that's bread and butter for Justin Sikalella, and he finds Inkster about 30 metres out on a slight angle.
Yeah, great build-up by the Eagles, and West Adelaide on-ballers just can't afford to leave those quality West players. As we can see, Sikalella on his own, and if you give him time and space, he's going to hit a target every time.
The two left-footers, Gray and Inkster, will battle it out this afternoon. Inkster from about 35. Plenty of distance in that kick, but he sprays it away to the right. Very
competitive game we've got so far. 3-goal 1 to 3-goal 4. The Eagles possibly should have a couple of goal leads, but they've missed a number of easier opportunities than West Adelaide.
I get a feeling with Tim Inkster, he's better on the run, and that's why he was so casual in the first goal that he kicked. He didn't really have much confidence about him as the kick comes back in for West Adelaide. Punch to the front. Porplesia with the good row, front and centre and high, very high. Hamblin sent the task, comes to ground, fumbled, and out to the first gamer in Lewis. Well, that's the second gamer in Lewis. Pulled down as he kicked it. As a result, the Eagles will load up again. Stevens in the van, takes the mark inside. He's got Fiachi, but he goes outside to the speed of Passador from 50 metres. Big kick from Passador in the goal square. A couple of players with hands on it, and finally the minor score.
They've looked very impressive coming to their forward line. They've got a lot of space, the Eagles, and if the West Adelaide defenders don't pay a bit more attention and respect to their immediate opponents, they're going to get cut up this afternoon.
Just at quarter time, just a reminder, we've got the highlights from last night's action between Sturt and North Adelaide. It was a 2-point game with 6 goals to Daniel Hargraves for the Roosters, unable to get them across the line. The Double Blues home by 2 points. The highlights at quarter time.
Ball out of bounds, inside 50 for the Eagles. O'Hara and Marsh. Marsh got the better of that and drove his own ball. This kick will bring rain. Jericho went too early. Floriani for the Eagles. Taken by Westbrook, just jammed it on the boot. Needing a mark. Ellis in front, couldn't quite hold on. Dre mops it up the back. He's beset upon. Inkster, normally clever in that situation, just ran out of real estate. Boundary throw in. 4 points the difference. 20 and a half gone first term.
Michael, he just called, David Westbrook onto the ground, and he's replacing Mark Passador, who may be just having a bit of a break after missing that shot from about 50.
The hamstring trouble last year, Passador for most of the year. Inkster, kick squared up. That's a dangerous kick. Ellis and Pettigrew. Pettigrew with a little bit more toe. Both Port Adelaide Power teammates playing on each other this afternoon in this match in the SANFL. Boundary throw-in just in front of the scoreboard, out of side. Here's Dale Ellis with that right shoulder strapped.
Just go nearest trainer.
Let's hope he gets through the game okay.
It's the blood rule. Just waiting for that behind play. Just trying to catch up with who it might be. Floriani it is. Floriani, some sort of cut to the face, but the umpire's quite happy that it's not flowing blood, so therefore we don't really have to stop the game for any length of time. Slattery, Porplesia, over the ball and just kicked it quickly. Powell is in the van, takes the mark. Nicely done. Spilled out, but the umpire had already ruled it was a mark. So Powell will take the kick for the Eagles as soon as he can get a handle on that ball. It took him a while. Now he looks up and
Let it go, guys.
crowded forward line. Ellis on the lead, no free kick. Called by the umpire, but he's obviously warning players. The ball to ground at the front. Inkster off the right foot towards goal. It's a goal, is it? Just got through. I had a suspicion for a moment it was going to hit the post, but that's 2 goals for Tim Inkster. What an opportunist, and off the right leg, managing to scramble that through for the major score.
I'll pay the free kick. Just watch on his team down there. They're blocking each other.
Good goal by Inkster. Just getting it on the boot and it just trickling through and just beat everybody. Caught everybody unawares and just rolling through for a goal.
5 kicks already to Tim Inkster, 2 goals won.
2 goals won has been terrific. 10 points the difference. Eagles with the ascendancy. Good high bounce. A lot of rain in Adelaide over the last 4 or 5 weeks. Stokes off the ground. Rugolo was clever to flick it back, but Slattery up to the task. Rugolo's all over him, got the handball out to Powell. Here they go again. Westbrook kicks inside 50, hoping for a mark. Inkster's there. Well done by Dre. Inkster's still dangerous. The handball's terrific. Round the corner, Ellis kept it low. Good, heady, thoughtful football by Dale Ellis.
Yeah, the Eagles just working really hard in the centre of the ground. Ben Marsh is the player getting his hand on the ball, but the Eagles on ball is reading his knocks, getting the ball quickly into the Eagles forward line, and Tim Inkster certainly creating a lot of damage, as we can see here. Just his ability, doesn't go to ground, keeps his feet, great handball out, and smart Dale Ellis just dribbling the ball through for number 5 for the Eagles. So 5-5, 10 shots a goal, a great productivity for the Eagle forward line this quarter.
As you see there, Ellis with 2 of his own. Inkster, the other productive forward, with 2 for him as well for the Eagles. So they've made a bright start to this game. 16 points the margin. Now the dance continues. The 2 ruckmen had it. Marsh tried to roll his own ball. O'Hara more successful. McKenzie couldn't take possession. Piacenti off the half-back line. Great pace through the middle. He's already got a goal from that half-back line. Kick looking for Wiggins. Watts got in there, so did Floriani. They work it well, the Eagles at the back. It comes to Bock. He goes short to Fiachi. He wants his left foot, just gets the kick away. Fiachi up towards Stevens. Hard at the ball, Stevens from behind. The punch came. Marsh, they share it through the middle. There was trouble being sold. The dump was Lewis. Comes clear. Eagles into attack again through Watts. Great kick. McKenzie with the mark. And McKenzie being held up. We're going to get 25 or maybe 50. No. McKenzie over the top, and that's why he was being held up. Gavin Colville had slipped down into the forward pocket, and he takes the mark uncontested 25 metres from goal.
And one of the real differences, I think, between the sides is just a delivery inside 50. We saw West Adelaide take it in and just a poor kick. The ball was turned over, but when the Eagles have the opportunities to hit a loose forward, they've certainly been a lot better at it than Westies have so far in the game.
Captain of the club, Gavin Colville, lining up, a 4-time club champion, including last season. And he received 3 Magarey votes last season in round 6 against West Adelaide. So he knows how to play the Bloods, but perhaps not how to kick goals at the moment.
Well, we were right behind that one, weren't we? That was a shocker. Gavin Colville, one of the probably most skillful players in the SANFL, and you would have certainly thought he would thread that one. So a disappointing miss for the Eagles, and 5 goals, 6 now in this quarter. They've certainly wasted some opportunities.
One of the big recruits come off the ground down there, Mark.
Yeah, Dragicevic having a break, and he's been replaced by Ross Glover, who's got Luke Powell now.
Long kick out by Dre, falls in the hands of Powell. Productively worked away by Fiachi to Stevens, and he tries to curl it right around, but he missed to that side, and Gavin Colville missed to the left-hand side. And this is how Gavin Colville reacted to the shank. Can't quite believe his luck there, Stephen.
No, wasn't it very unlike Gavin Colville, and even that kick around the body from Mark Stevens, you would have thought a player of his ability would certainly score at least.
Good front square by Glover, who's taken over the line by Stevens, or nearly over the line. Umpire will call for a bounce. Passador about to come back on.
Luke Powell, busiest player on the ground, had 9 possessions. Inside 50s, Eagles 16, West 5.
Westies go forward. I think that might have been Lewis with the flowing locks. Gets it back again. Luke Nathan. Just needs a shepherd there, Nathan, and didn't quite get one from anybody. Oh, Sikalella taken high purchase. This is Robert Fiacci, who's taken the ball to the boundary line and getting very deep into this quarter. And you just get the feeling, Stephen, that Westies just need to snag a goal to try and keep in this contest.
Yeah, there's no doubt they're just hanging on. Eagles have had all the play, dominating inside 50s, and the game's really at a critical stage now where West have to make a stand.
Fiacci, this is Peter Fiacci, a couple of Fiaccis playing today. Good kick, looking for Passador. That's terrific work by Jericho, who's playing in the back line for West Adelaide. Passador takes him to ground illegally, said the umpire. Pushed in the back, and Luke Jericho will get the free kick, and he's got to come back over his mark. Jericho's looked okay at half-back, Stephen. Yeah,
different role, isn't it, Luke? So we've seen him playing for the Crows as a forward and looking pretty dangerous, so he's just learning the game and be great for his development to play across the half-back line.
He's kicked to a pack. Watts got it to Stokes, to Colville. So the Eagles look dangerous again. Inkster with a bit of pace. Makes the mark. I think Pettigrew's gone onto him. Kick to the hot spot. Lewis palmed it down. Stevens. Let's see if he can curl this one back. Ah, yes. Don't make the same mistake twice.
No, just classy play, Mark Stevens. He's a quality player. He knows the positions to be in. He couldn't get to the marking contest, so just sat at the front of the pack, read the ball off crumbs, as we'll see here. Just you can see him moving in now, and just wonderful position. Knew where the goals were, and an easy snap around the body.
Well, Stevens, not overly demonstrative there, but no doubt happy with the result.
He's had 8 possessions already as well.
Luke Jericho, who started on Mark Passador, has come off the ground, and Luke Norman now has the job on Passador.
Well, Lewis out of the middle, and Bock is in front in defence for the Eagles. Looks up, the centre of the ground. He's got a player loose in Westbrook, but decided, well, not Westbrook, in fact, 31 for the Eagles is, in fact, Westbrook, so I'll get it right in a moment. Ball wide, and McKenzie taking the ball across the line. In his wake, Nathan, just slow to get up. Eagles now put some distance in this match. 22 points late in the opening term.
Eyes on, boys, eyes on.
No score for Westies since the 17-minute mark. In fact, they've barely gone forward since then, and they're struggling again. Fiacci was good with the hands. They swing it to Colville. He's on this wing and unattended at the moment. Colville inside 50. Good kick. Chest mark dropped. Ellis got it up. Passador once, twice. Second time he goes for goal and just can't sneak it inside the post. He tried to be too clever the first time. The kick was smothered. Second time, missed just.
Just the use of the ball too by the Eagles. Once again, we've talked about how classy they are with their kicking, and they're certainly cutting up the West Adelaide defence with those pinpoint passes.
Some changes down there, Mark.
Yeah, Matty Stokes, who's been a bit of a live wire early on, he's come off for a little bit of a breather, and he's been replaced there by number 26, of course. He's a new recruit, Dale Simons, playing his 3rd game.
Like Soderstrom on the boundary for ABC Television Sport. Norman takes an eternity. He wants the quarter-time bell to go, you'd think. O'Hara from the back just carries the pack. No one can get through. Glover. Was it holding the ball? Umpire said yes. Had prior opportunity, Ross Glover. Got the short haircut this year. And still didn't get rid of it. There's Simmons immediately into play. Good-looking kick. Inkster couldn't take it. Norman just waited. Got it off to Pettigrew. Slattery, Dre with a fumble. We'll go for the boundary line and/or poor pleasure. Good work by Floriani. Ball just trickles out of bounds. 31 minutes gone first term, and 6 goals to the Eagles. They look pretty good, pretty sharp at this stage.
Eagles dominating possession, 78 to 53.
I think Brett O'Hara, his influence since coming on has almost coincided with the Eagles' onslaught of goals.
And he gets another one. Fiacci kicks it looking for Passador. Hamblin, Stevens. This is Mark Stevens. Just hooks it around, doesn't curl it back far enough. He's getting plenty of football up there, Mark Stevens, and that's got to be a worry for Sean Wren.
Yeah, he's getting far too much footy. I think Moggy, 9 possessions, I think now for Mark Stevens, and to be a key forward and pick up 9 possessions and probably have 4 or 5 shots a goal is certainly worrying signs for Sean Wren.
Are just stretching out ever so much, and it's going to stretch again because they get the ball straight back in there, and oh, great smother coming in just as Simons was about to line up a goal. That'll be a free kick. Ball released, and Westies will get some relief at last. Piacenti takes off. He's in trouble. Hand passes forward. Down the line, looking for Wiggins. Jumped up for the mark. Wasn't there. Howard fed it off nicely. Hamblin inside 50 with the kick. A late goal would be handy here if you're a Westies fan. Paul Pleasure snapped it up, looked for the hand pass, it wasn't on, so he surrendered it to Pedler. Kicks to the open side of the ground. Pedler will be hoping for the boundary. He doesn't need to worry, the siren goes. So at quarter time, fantastic opening quarter from the Eagles. After scores were locked together at the 5-minute mark at 1-1 apiece, they sprinted away. 6-7-43 plays 3-1-19. Another opportunity now is the now familiar ruck work takes place with the 2 ruckmen preferring not to jump into each other. Norman with a chance, just wants to take ball and just couldn't hold on to it. Now it's in dispute, we'll get another ball up. And O'Hara, interestingly, going into the ruck for the Eagles, having had some tape work done on his right hand, I think. So, Stephen Williams, they've been listening to you. O'Hara, which is the move you would have made, leave him in the ruck.
Well, he was certainly the player that turned the fortunes of the Eagles around, but Lindsay's done okay in the start of the second quarter, and the Eagles are really dominant over most positions on the ground.
Wait for another ball up. A lot of players around the ball. That is a shocking bounce. Punched forward there by Rugolo for the Eagles. Ball to ground, and attacking it was Hamblin. Passador tackled him. Ball released. Powell will be first to it. Boundary line might win out. No, Powell does well. Inside he looks. Westbrook coming. No, opts not to. Ball to ground. Ellis taken to ground nicely. And umpire ruled.
You've got to dispose of it. At least try with the handball. At least try with the handball. Back up.
Well, you heard that. And Chris Chubb, the defender from the Bloods, will take the free kick eventually when the ball goes back to him. Now Chubb goes for Lewis. Was his original target. It finally finds Lewis. He'll want his left foot. Looks inside, looks up, doesn't have a lead. Finally Howard comes. He goes over his head into a pack. Fergus Watts comes out of that pack at a rate of knots. Umpire says play on. Still the ball on the ground. Wiggins did well. Released the hand pass, not brilliantly. And the Eagles will load up again. Westbrook. Well, that wasn't a mark according to the umpire. Norman with foot to ball. Back towards his attacking areas. And Watts did well. Across the middle of that pack and under pressure from Big Wiggins. Watts with the mark, and the Eagles will get another opportunity to go forward.
Yeah, Fergus Watts really starting to develop as a key position player as well. We saw him as a forward late last year, but looks very much at home in the back line.
Dragicevic kicks it long, hoping for a Howard mark, and he's got it. Just.
Well, when was that actually under control?
Interesting decision, wasn't it? But at least we saw Dean Howard in front, and when you play in front, you certainly get the benefit of the umpire's decisions.
Here it comes now. Stephen Williams, talk us through this.
Yeah, well, looking on the replay there, he seemed to control the ball down into his mid-drift, and certainly another much-needed goal to West Adelaide. So a couple in a row now. Westie's starting to fight back a bit. 8-7 to the Eagles, 5-1 to West Adelaide.
This is good work by Dragicevic, and some activity also. It's a good mark by Howard. Some activity down on that interchange bench, Mark Sotis.
Michael, a lot of changes. Nick Prokopec has come off the ground, and he has been replaced by the smaller option in Nicholas Malinovsky. Sean Wren also making some positional changes in defence. Mark Stevens now has Ben Dre, so Matt Elman off the ground, and Ellis is now being picked up by Chubb when he had Pettigrew earlier on.
Oh, stalemate, 7 to 5-1. These Westies have been accurate. Lewis, nice hand pass. Piacenti breaking from the middle, looks inside, can't get the hand pass out because Cicolella blocked it well. Now he's forced to kick into a pocket. Leading hard was Jericho. Porplesia pulled it in, might be in trouble. Umpire says no, I'll have it. Just Piacenti trying to get the kick away, and Cicolella did well, rounded him up towards that boundary line. Wiggins, tap down. Coming through Dragostevic, and you hear the umpire, get it out, get it out. It's not easy sometimes. And umpire Tim Pfeiffer says, despite that, I'm going to give a free kick.
Bit tough, that one, I thought. He certainly was the player playing the ball and really didn't get much protection at all from the umpires.
Robert Fiarchi goes to the far side of the ground, dangerous. They had faith in Watts. He rewarded that with a nice takedown. Now to Pedler, through the middle to Rugolo. Rugolo will come to this side of the ground. No, he won't. Brilliant dummy, fooled everybody, including me. Down to half forward, looking for Passador. At the front, Norman. Colville took it off his hand. Colville to ground. Norman now, back the other way, come Westies. They've got the numbers. Porplesia traps it well. Hand pass from his back, he goes off. Inside half forward, not the greatest of kicks, looking for Howard. Covering was Bock. And the boundary line may win out, and it does in the end. In front of that scoreboard with 24 points the difference, and they fought back well, Westies, and it is a contest now.
He doesn't look fit to me, Dean Howard. Let's have a look at what's happening at half-time. Neil?
Yes, we'll explain exactly what that's in there, what's happening in there. You can see down the bottom how not to contest the centre bounce. We'll come to that. It happened in the WAFL last weekend, and we'll have a very long look at that at half-time.
Plenty of stats to be had in that particular segment. Fighting effort this by West Adelaide. Kicked a couple of goals, so too the Eagles. Pedler knocked it down, Porplesia. Lewis, he's been good. Looking for Wiggins and Watts over the back. Terrific work by Fiarchi. Caught one high on the way through. Advantage rule paid. Rugolo just covers Powell, but he's plenty of space. He's had a bounce or two. What's he got up forward? Stevens gives him something out to the flank. Execution not good. Dre couldn't quite haul it in. Did okay, Ben Dre. With a non-preferred. Looking for Nathan. Terrific work. That's Treby for the Eagles, who got it to Rugolo, to Floriani, who's got the headband on. Good kick finds Powell. Couple of kicks out from goal. Ellis is in the square. The kick is just off the instep and allows Pettigrew to take the mark. I thought he was off. This will be 25 maybe. I thought Pettigrew was away.
I think he was away too, and very lucky to get the benefit of the doubt from the umpire then.
Well, he does like to play on, Michael Pettigrew. Good kick finds Chubb at half-back. Needs a shepherd from Porplesia and gets it. Kick just dies, but it's good enough. It's marked by Dragostevic, who looks like he's just starting to work his way into the game. His target was Wiggins. Poor kick, poor execution on a full burst. Pedler, whose kick is pinpoint and finds Powell on the wing.
Powell, nice dummy. Inside his opponent, Porplesia. Now he gets inside. Dragostevic goes up to the goal face. Not the greatest of kicks. Passador did brilliantly to bring it to ground. Ball still in there. Illman with the hand pass, and then Norman. And then Slattery goes wide for Lewis. Interesting race for the ball. O'Hara shows good pace and good agility. Taps it out for Rugolo. Well done by the big guy. Rugolo inside and just finds Floriani. He plays on, no doubt about that. Floriani's kick was pretty good, insta on the mark. It's just so much more effective going forward.
Almost the tale of the day, the fact that Scott Lewis really pushed hard to get out there, but he had no support from his teammates. There was 3 Eagles players and another 2 loose Eagles players in the middle, and just their delivery and ball skills generally have been a lot better standard in West Adelaide today.
The kick to Wiggins was terrible from Dragostevic.
Here's Inkster, long run up, and from that long run up, kicks effectively another goal for Tim Inkster and the Eagles, and that's 3 for Inkster this afternoon. And he's certainly enjoying a day out. Just have a look at the work of Rugolo, just inside the big man there, and away from Ben Marsh he was.
And we saw Luke Powell also do it twice here, and I'm sure Sean Wren will be very frustrated because coaches tell players constantly to watch the player, don't watch the ball, and just to step around players really says that you're not quite switched on.
man that was switched on right through his career was Darren Jarman, who used to do that beautifully every week. Lewis can't get it for West Adelaide. High kick to half forward. Ball knocked away. No one can take clean possession. Pedler for the Eagles, just paddles in front. At a purple patch at the moment. Pedler will get a free kick for that, playing the ball all the way through, and Purchase just laying the mitts on him. And Joe Pedler, who's played a lot of football, hasn't kicked a goal in SANFL footy in his career. He won't mind that. The kick's good to Sikalella. Sikalella, normally pinpoint. The kick out in front of Ellis, but getting in the gap was Slattery. Terrific courage. Just swings it to the near side of the ground to his skipper in Norman. 30 points the difference, 5 goals. Norman's kick's chopped off by Treby. He's got a man in Sikalella short. He'll decide to pump it long, looking for McKenzie at the back. Oh, 1 grab, 2 grab, 3. He was behind. Good call by the umpire, I thought. McKenzie probably should have gone the punch. Ball in dispute, bounce. And if you're in that situation, Stephen Williams, as a coach, watching Mark McKenzie, you allow him to go for it or not?
Probably as a forward, you say, well, you know, you might have a bit of a jump. You probably take the chance in the forward line, but definitely if you're a back, when you punch from behind.
30 points the margin. O'Hara, nice tap out. Didn't get the man he wanted, but he did get Sikalella, who was clever. So was Fiachi. Rugolo was excellent. Turned around and kicked a goal. Great finish from Rugolo in really dangerous territory inside the pack. Managed to get away from his man, and a beautiful finish with the kick.
I'm sure we'll see that one on replay, but there certainly wasn't a lot of room for Vinny Rugolo to move in there, as we're watching now, but just a class player. And once again, West Adelaide need to watch the player, not the ball. Chubb anticipated the handball, went to cover it. Rugolo just turned onto the right, and a lovely goal.
Ronnie Fuller making a move. He had Mark Passador was being picked up by Luke Norman, so just to stretch him a little bit, he's taken Passador off and put Paul Lindsay in full forward.
Strapping going on there, like an Egyptian mummy, Robert Fiachi. Back in the centre, 36 points the difference in favour of the last year's grand finalists, the Eagles. Treby found Inkster. Inkster's kick to McKenzie, just too much space in that forward line. McKenzie's kick to Fiachi. How many times have they ran unchecked inside 50, the Eagles, and found and spotted up targets? It's just been a procession.
Well, it's just the work rate, isn't it? The Eagles on ballers are willing to run to the next contest, whereas Westies are waiting back, hoping their backline can turn the ball over and bring it back to them.
If you want it, 1 metre.
Peter Fiachi, who's kicked a goal in this term, a good running goal at the 3.5-minute mark of this second term.
Busiest player on the ground. This is his 16th possession. Luke Powell's had 15.
Really stepped up his football in the last 12 months, Peter Fiachi. Had been in and out of this team, but really wants to be part of it. Kicks a long ball. Will it be number 2? He's happy with it. The Eagles go marching on. They lead by 42 points. They've booted 5 in this term and a couple to that man, Peter Fiachi.
And it's just been all hard work with Peter Fiachi. He's not the flashiest player, but he's just willing to put his head down and work hard. And as we can see there, McKenzie takes a mark. Fiachi just bolts into the loose space, and you know, you work hard in the football match, you're certainly going to be rewarded with possession.
Well, straight kicking, 5 straight goals for the Eagles in the quarter. 2 to West Adelaide, but not nearly enough. 11-7 plays 5-1. They fixed what we identified as a problem. The Eagles, they've kicked more accurately in this quarter. It's blown open the match as Illman gets the tap down. As Fiachi took it away from his teammate, then pulled the ground, and that's holding the ball. Great tackle by Purchase. Got good Purchase in the tackle.
Showed a few signs, Andrew Purchase, Scott Lewis, some of Westie's younger players. They just need some of their more experienced guys to start to lead the way.
Here's Jericho, nice lead, chest mark, easy. Looks up inside 50, Wiggins says kick it out to the open side. Jericho doesn't heed that advice, goes back. And Wiggins with 2 grabs, 3 grabs, and eventually pulls it down to the satisfaction of the umpire. And so Wiggins will line up for goal.
He certainly does look the dangerous player up there, doesn't he, as far as the tall West Adelaide forwards go. And if Westies can win enough of the ball around the midfield and give him some opportunities, I'm sure he's in for a big day again. But just watching, just a nice mark, able to get in front of Fergus Watts, kept his eyes on the ball the whole time, and was able to juggle it in.
Interesting angle here for a right footer. Not an absolute given that he'll kick this. And he pokes at it a bit, and as a result, just away. to his left. Disappointing result in the end from that sort of distance, really.
Yeah, they've got to make the most. They're not getting the ball inside 50. It's 32-14, so when it does go in there, Westies certainly need to kick goals to keep themselves in the contest.
Eagles by 41 points. It's a pity the kick didn't match the mark. It was a terrific pack mark by Wiggins. Long kick, carries the pack. Here's Wiggins again. Needs a shepherd. He's strong enough to break a couple. Just kicks it long. Watts Jericho! That's a beauty. Had the sit, had the name written all over it, and Luke Jericho will go back from 25 and see if he can boot this through. Have a look at this.
It was good work by Wiggins, wasn't it, just to get the ball back in there quickly. And Jericho probably being a little quiet today, needs to give his side a bit more because he has so much athletic ability up on that forward line.
Started off across half-back Luke Jericho. He may have just followed the same trend that Patrick Wiggins did a moment ago and sprayed it across the face. We'll have another look at this mark from Luke Jericho.
Nice and clean, wasn't it? One grab, and hopefully that'll give the boy a bit of confidence now, and he can really start to lead and demand the ball inside the West Adelaide forward line.
Well, 2 contested marks inside your forward 50. You'd expect to get at least 1 goal out of them. Not great angles to speak of in terms of looking at the goal face, and they haven't capitalised on either. So the Eagles work it through Bock at the back. Box kick, not the greatest. Watts was good though, stood up. Rugolo, down the line he goes. Treby, he's a left footer. He'll want to come inside if he can get it. Instead he leaves it, and not the greatest of kicks from Ellis either. Down inside the forward 50 though. Lucks of fortune. McKenzie is good on both sides, but he's dragged down and the umpire calls play on. Controversy there. Could have gone either way, maybe for the low tackle,
well,
maybe for holding the ball.
It was a great effort by Murray Hamlin to dive in there. And certainly the tackle did slip down, but I think the umpire made a fair decision.
20 metres out from goal. Chubb comes from behind, knocks it to Norman, breaks from the back. Norman's got a hand pass on. He opts to go instead with the kick. Wide is the kick, and he finds Champion.
There's nobody to kick the ball to, is there?
No, I was just looking down the line there, and Bock was the only one really. He unfortunately was in the wrong colours. Dragosevic gets released through the middle. Jericho just tries to hold off his man, but goes to ground. Now he's in trouble. Fiancci's all over him. Treby's in trouble now. He's got 2 on him. Ball to ground. Still they go, and the umpire will come in eventually, and we'll get a ball up just outside the Westies forward 50. Let's have another look. And, well, that's all fair and love and war, I would have thought. And then dragged it in. Jericho, dangerous stuff.
Dangerous stuff these days, isn't it?
Kick smothered. Watts, Rob Fiacci, in hard, so too Jericho. Big pack of players around the football. 24, nearly 25 minutes gone. The Bloods would love another one. There's Luke Powell on the Treadley. Most players try and get some sort of players in the midfield, try and keep the legs moving, pumping. Thumped out toward Treby, who ducked back inboard. Piasanti got a fingernail on it, but Rugolo, good enough, kicks it inside 50, just to some open space. Which way will it bounce? Well done, Ellis. Just tapped it out to Peter Fiacci. He's kicked a couple in this term. Just handballed the ball away. Oh, lovely play back to Ellis. Ellis is caught with a footy. Umpire said play on. In goes Pettigrew. Ball held to him. Umpire will surely call for a bounce. He will inside the Eagles forward 50.
It would have been, mate.
Good work by Peter Fiacci. Shows he's on top of his game at the moment.
It shows they're very sharp, and just the work in the forward line to hold the ball in has been very pleasing from an Eagle point of view.
Illman with a backhander, taken by Westbrook, threw it on the boot. Nothing can go wrong for the Eagles. Nothing can go wrong. Westbrook just slammed it on the boot, and it just floats through for another goal. They boot their 6th of this term.
They're only 20 years old, David Westbrook, and he's not a classy-looking player, but he certainly gets in there, and he's been great today. Just another goal around the stoppage, just reading the play, nice dodge, and something out of nothing, really. Lovely snap, and certain deserved goal.
Averaged 12 possessions last year, David Westbrook, and went through the draft screening process here in South Australia. Obviously didn't get picked up, but he's got some talent. No no clean possessions out of there. Finally it comes to Glover. That was nice to Norman, who's fumbled uncharacteristically on a number of occasions today. Hasn't helped his side. Inkster with the bump, releases Rugolo. Siren is the only thing that can stop the Eagles, and it does in their tracks. So a 26-minute quarter, and the Eagles 12-7-79 with a commanding lead over West Adelaide at half-time. It's the Eagles 12-7-79, the Eagles 5-3-33.
A bit of a stoush, and interesting that Illman has gone to the bench along with Prokopek. A couple of players didn't have the best of it in the first half. Mackenzie for the Eagles. Centre clearance goes, and a lovely mark taken by Mark Stevens. His new opponent is Ben Dray. A flood of players working hard toward the forward 50 as Peter Fiacci takes the mark right on it. Terrific couple of goals in the second term by Peter Fiacci, and one of the leading ball getters on the ground.
Just don't speak from there.
Peter Fiacci. This would strike a dagger through the blood's heart. If Fiacci can goal, it's a good long kick, and I think it might have clipped the goalpost. It's a behind. Good kick from there, Stephen Williams. Peter Fiacci just got plenty of it and made the distance quite easy.
He did. He's certainly been a wonderful player. 47 games now for the Eagles, and very improved this season.
Piacenti obviously has decided to continue with that hip problem. While Sodas was talking about it, he was dropping his pants slightly to put some strapping on. That was interesting. Or maybe for the female viewers anyway. So Westies with now a slow build-up from the back. They need to go a little bit quicker than that, you'd think, from behind Wiggins. Watts crashed over the top of Wiggins. He'll get a free kick, I think. Yes. And coming off there, O'Hara looks like he's got a problem with his left wrist, or maybe his left finger on that left hand. Wiggins down to centre-half forward. In the middle of the pack, Mackenzie pulls down the mark. They'll break from the back, you would think. For the short option, they go to Lindsay. Lindsay dropped what he should have taken. Piacenti was in there. And now we'll get a ball up right in front of us. Centre wing at the Woodville Oval.
Top ball getters in the first half for the Eagles. Peter Fiacci, 16. Luke Powell, 15.
Oh, you jumped over the back of it.
Vinny Rugolo, 11, and Mark Stevens, 13. For the Eagles, Ryan Lewis had 10.
Get it here.
Ball now over the line, just in front of the players' race. Some Westie supporters would like if they went off the ground and started again. That's been a most impressive performance from West Adelaide this afternoon.
Well, they've been disappointing, but good to see Dean Howard actually up around the contest now. He's one of the toughest guys in the SANFL, and it'll be nice just to see him charge at the ball and get a few Eagles players jumping around the place.
He charged at the ball then and overran it. Now Fiacci has his opportunity. Glover took him, well, he didn't take him down, but he took him away from the ball. It's on the boundary line. Fiacci continues. Finally, it's over the line, and Purchase is the man who took him down there. Just have another look at why O'Hara's off the ground, and we just watched that left hand and that left thumb, or finger, or ouch. Just dislocating a finger, I think, in that little incident. See the pain on his face as he came to ground. Speaking of coming to ground, the ball is there again. Knocked out. Rugolo got the hand pass to Treby. Treby in turn back to Colville, his captain. His kick wasn't the best, and it should be chopped off by Norman, who's fumbled a lot today. And there was another example. Just couldn't get it in the right place. Chubb, nothing if not desperate. Poor hand pass. Powell, and then Clever. And out on his own is Ellis. And nicely done, and good poise shown by Simmons in just his second or third game of league football.
They've just got things set up nicely. We saw Gavin Colville just sitting off the contest there. The ball was just out the back to Colville. And the Eagles just been much smarter and much more precise with the way they've moved the ball. And Dale Ellis now the opportunity to make it number 4.
Ellis, who shouldn't have any problems with the distance. He is a big kick when he wants to. He just lays back on that one slightly. No problems at all, though. He gets it over the goal umpire's hat. And Ellis has 4 this afternoon. And the Eagles have plenty of options up forward.
And wouldn't you love to be a tall or any sort of forward playing in the Eagles forward line today? Just the delivery from their midfield has been outstanding, and we've seen Dale Ellis now put his 4 through, and he certainly has had some wonderful passes given to him today.
Lovely shot of that with goal umpire Cam. Dale Ellis 4 straight. Been in good touch, and delivery to him has been exemplary.
Michael, Brett O'Hara is still receiving some attention on the left ring finger. He now has that ice, so we won't see him for a little while.
Thanks, Mark. Luke Norman for West Adelaide. High ball. Slattery couldn't take the mark. Well done by Pettigrew, who's been moved forward by Sean Wren. Slattery just looking for Jericho. Bock and Jericho. They might need something off the ground. Floriani, he went to ground, but good enough to paddle it over the line. So West Adelaide going forward inside 50, Stephen, and not really doing too well. And there's O'Hara. That injury.
No, the delivery and the pace in which the ball gets inside the West Adelaide forward line compared to the Eagles forward line is chalk and cheese. It's certainly much quicker and much easier to play up forward for the Eagles today than for West Adelaide.
Here's Floriani with the short pass to Inkster. Inside to Fiachi, Robert Fiachi. Down looking for Ellis. Nathan came from behind, looked like he was in the back, but Colville just pushed it away, and eventually they come back the other way. Dragicevic got the hand pass loose. Floriani to Robert Fiachi again. Now Sikalella. Ball slightly touched as he hand passed it over the top to McKenzie. Didn't stop McKenzie from taking possession, and then in turn in the chain came Inkster, who finds Big Lindsay. This time no mistake in front of the eyes. On goes Lindsay. Not the greatest of kicks. Purchase went back and took the chest mark. Wants to square it across to this side of the ground, but nothing on offer at the moment. Nathan presents, but he's tracked across there by Colville, so Purchase just waiting. Lewis is short, that's the way he goes. Lewis allowed to play on. Goes longer, looking for Wiggins. And the push under the ball from Bock, and that was ruled to be in the back. A little too obvious there from Nathan Bock.
It was, but good work again by Scott Lewis, the young player, just taking the ball by the horns, going in short and giving West Adelaide an option to move the ball along the ground.
And speaking of options, Jericho's gone to full forward for Westies and took a strong mark then, and an even stronger kick. Good finish from Luke Jericho. He is a talent.
Certainly is, and it was the West Adelaide young players again that were able just to take some chances and look to move the ball down the ground, and it was just some great play. And Jericho presenting himself, a great contested mark, back quickly, saw the open goal square, and a lovely kick from just on the 50-metre line.
West Adelaide's first goal since the 11-minute mark of the second term. And Luke Jericho, we saw him down at Noarlunga going back early last year, and he really has a good leg on him. Kicked some long goals in that game, and it's on again at half forward. Wiggins and Watts having a real old stoush. Know who'll come up the winner there. I don't know who I'd back. I'd certainly back Dean Howard if he was in a scrap. Up forward looking for Slattery, who's been pretty lively. Tries to set it up. Good kick, spots up Wiggins. And Slattery's kicking today has been pretty good and needed to be, and just pinpointed Wiggins.
Yeah, Dean Howard finally getting a clearance out of the middle of the ground, and Slattery, lovely skills, and that's how the Eagles forwards have been presented with the ball today, and good to see Wiggins getting himself loose.
Well, I'll back Wiggins to go at Watts after this goal. If he kicks the goal, I'll back those two to come together again.
Not on the best of terms at the moment. Wiggins, good looking kick, or is it? No. Well, he sprayed one across the face and then overcompensated at the other end and just pushed it out to the right.
It's not a fantastic kicking style, is it? It looks quite awkward for a player that's been through the AFL system, and really should have allowed it from that distance.
Ball slow to come back. Kid's just occupied in the tent down there by the looks. Sikalella with possession. Now, this is interesting. A huddle. And finally, Sikalella kicks it to himself and goes wide, and Howard got pushed in the back, so not the most effective of huddles there that time from the Eagles. Didn't get a quick release out of their defensive area. Howard called the play on, goes short, and Sikalella just gets across there and takes the mark. And you heard the umpires telling the runners to get out of there. Good chase from Jericho. Brilliant chase from Jericho. Put Watts under pressure, not the greatest of kicks, out of bounds, 70 metres around from the Westies' goal.
I'm sure Sean Wren would certainly be heartened by the pace and the contest Luke Jericho provided. They're not only taking marks, but working hard on the 1%ers of the game as well.
Was in the Bay Sheffield Sprint a couple of years ago. Luke Jericho, so he has some pace. Dragicevic went high, looking for Slattery, or at least looking to kick the ball inside forward 50. That's about all he achieved there. You look at Brett O'Hara being treated with that ring finger, we believe, was the one that was dislocated. Ouch. So ball thrown in just on the edge of West Adelaide's attacking 50. Powell came away with the ball, and he went down the line. Norman got in the way and did well, roved it off the feet of Stevens. Norman goes up the half forward. Nice mark taken, and that is 25 metres. Yep. Well,
it wasn't a bad one, though, when you think about it, because Pettigrew was off, wasn't he? And he had a bit of space.
It was well played and well umpired. And Luke Norman read the ball nicely. Michael Pettigrew presented himself, and he's looked pretty good, Pettigrew. Whether down back or up forward, he certainly provided a bit of life for the Bloods.
Gary Fuller, the umpire there, setting the mark. And Pettigrew out to the right and stays there.
Probably in the last 5 or 6 minutes, Westies have been a lot more competitive, but when these opportunities present themselves, they certainly need to nail them to give them any possible chance of getting back into the contest.
They've been inside 56 times to 2 this quarter.
Someone's gone off for a cooling down, Mark Soderstrom.
Fergus Watts looks pretty disappointed as he's just been dragged, having a little bit of a altercation with Wiggins earlier, but he's come off for a bit of a breather. He's just pacing up and down the boundary line, probably just cooling the temper, I'd say, Michael.
Treeby to Inkster, and Inkster couldn't take the mark, and Norman provided the pressure. Boundary throw in. And there's Fergus cooling off. Starting to get a bit touchy up there at half-back, both he and Wiggins. Just reflect on what's going on. Lindsay's given away a free kick against Marsh, definitely wrapping him up and throwing him to the ground. How does that happen, Stephen? I mean, do you get caught out of position as a ruckman? And
yeah, Marsh just got his body in the right spots, and probably they're both holding, but Lindsay was probably a bit stronger and actually just threw Marsh out the way.
Marsh's kick was looking for Wiggins, but it goes to the back to Ellis, who finds himself at the half-back line. Well done, Floriani to Rugolo, who really does give them some spark. That is a very good kick to the outer side wing. Passador. Plenty of Eagles numbers pushing forward. West Adelaide trying to go. The kick looking for Mackenzie. Well done, Piacenti. Rode front and square by Stevens. Little give to Rugolo. Sold him into all sorts of trouble. Well done by Piacenti. Port Pleasure got it back to Lewis. Lewis has got a bit of toe. Been impressed with his game. His kick not good that time. Finds Joey Pedler, and Wiggins coming right over the top. No harm done. Here's Big Patrick.
Nice work.
Get out of the way.
Nice work by Joe Pedler too, just to block that hole off. He knew players were coming, but good player just stands in the right place.
No bad game. Lindsay spots up Westbrook. Hard running done by Piacci. He may go to the goal square. Ellis on a good lead. Good kick. Couldn't hold the mark. Well done by Chubb. Handball was chopped off. Dre goes in hard for the footy. Rugolo pops out the back to Chubb. Well, they worked it pretty hard there, West Adelaide, and did okay. The handball, Dragicevic, about cleaned up by the young man Simmons. Dragicevic thought he was held. In they go hard again, and the umpire says too high. I thought that player in there might have ducked his head, young Simmons, but he'll get a free kick.
Certainly caught high, but I think Dragicevic has probably caught a touch high to start with as well.
Sikalella, outside 50. Kicks looking for Stevens. And we don't say this too often, poor kick by Sikalella.
No, one of the few times that the Eagles have actually been forced to go deep into that forward pocket rather than to the hot spot outside the 10-metre square.
Umpire there referring to the Eagles runner, who obviously has been warned a couple of times to get on, get the message and get out. Stevens over the ball. Dre took him down. Piacenti. Powell had a hand in there. Dre now over the ball, and finally get a ball up.
Certainly a lot of players now back in the Eagle forward line. Westies have pushed all their numbers back, and certainly a lot harder to score when there's a number of players around the contest.
Keep the arms free around the patch.
O'Hara. Interesting to see which hand he uses in this contest. Marsh probably got the better of it. Dragicevic touched off the boot. You heard that. So even though the ball out on the full, it won't be a free kick against Mark Dragicevic, who was more than a little frustrated before by the umpires' rulings. All to be thrown in. 44 points the margin.
Eyes on the footy,
Halfway
guys,
through this
on it!
third quarter. O'Hara, he'll get to it first, you'd think. Lewis tracking it to the line, as was Dragicevic. We'll get another ball in. Lull in play. As we said, so many players around the ball, it's not surprising that the pace of the game has been restricted somewhat.
Let's keep the arms free, guys, arms free!
It's been exhausting for the umpires out there, all that talk. Here's Lewis, just paddled in front of him. Now Rugolo got the kick away. Norman tried to jump in the pack, got nowhere. Meanwhile, at the front, Passador had the strong hands and took the mark. And when we get another look at this, watch the old legs, I guess, of poor Luke Norman trying to get up. Oh, just couldn't quite get there.
Just great effort by Mark Passador, going the same way as the ball, and full credit to Vinny Rogolo, not snapping from the pocket, kicking the ball to the danger spot, and good disciplined play.
And Tim Inkster, I think, was the man on the ground who took it away from a West opponent, got it to Rugolo, who in turn set the ball up 20 metres from goal. And from that resulting contest, Passador marks and goals for the Eagles.
They've just got such a dangerous forward line. If Stevens isn't getting the ball, Passador's a chance to get it, or Inkster, or Ellis. Now Fergus Watts having a bit of a crack up forward. So Ronnie Fuller certainly blessed with a lot of talented forwards.
It's got to be one of the most courageous things to do, run full on into the head of a pack and take a mark, going the opposite way.
Yeah, great play. First goal for Mark Passador, and he's certainly moved around and looked lively for the whole of the three quarters so far.
It's out to 50 points now, the highest margin in the game. Passador got it away to Treby, who's locked up in the tackle by Malinowski. Umpire lets it go. All just booted forward. Simmons couldn't get it. In goes Champion, wearing the number 36 this year. Just wonder why he'd moved from 37 back to 36, but he's got a free kick, Wade Champion.
Hasn't really had much of an impact today. A lovely built player, and you'd really like to see him put some really good performances together.
Just 5 possessions.
Hasn't had much of it. This man, David Westbrook, terrific workhorse. It's a high kick, hoping for a mark. Floriani went to ground too easily. Should have stayed on his feet. Colville. It's a high kick to Passador. Well done by Champion. Locked up by Passador. How did he get rid of that? On the blind side, the umpire called play on, and I think it was a 50-50 one, so pretty good umpiring by the officiating umpire, Tim Pfeiffer.
And just great play by Passador. We saw him take that courageous mark, but not only prepared to mark, but certainly works hard on the other aspects of the game to hold the ball in.
Life's a breeze. Matthew Stokes just sunning himself on the bench. Powell, did that go 15? Umpire said, I'll get the measuring stick out and say just. Mark Stevens will take the mark and shoot from 40.
And one of the real rules of football, isn't it? When you're a forward play in front, you never know. Quick kick comes. Stevens standing in the right spot, able to take a fairly easy mark.
You can't blame Ben Dre there too much. Stevens just managed to get his body in front. He's a pretty strong man, Mark Stevens. Hard to get around once he gets in front, particularly at this level. Yes, Moggy?
Yep, sorry, 6 marks and 16 possessions with this one.
Yeah, he's been terrific.
We'll back him in here. He's booted one. And he's got another one. It's out to 56 points. Well, Sean Wren did a bit of sandbagging and flooding in the early part of this term, but the Eagles just starting to break free now, Stephen.
Yeah, if you can win the ball around the contest and get it moving quickly, as we saw Power do then, there's nothing the opposition can do, even if they push players back. The quick movement certainly beats the flood, and the Eagles have just been too precise, too willing to get in there and get the hard ball.
At Noarlunga this afternoon, South Adelaide coming off a victory over the reigning Premier last week, playing the side that finished bottom last season, and they have given Norwood a thrashing so far. 19-11-125, South Adelaide. Norwood 3-11-29. 96 points the margin there. That's a progress score from the third quarter. You'd fancy that if you picked South Adelaide, you'd be quite happy at this stage. Westies break from the square. Marsh gave it to Lewis, inside 50 with the kick, looking for Jericho. Just couldn't pull it down. And they clear their defensive area, the Eagles, and they'll get a throw in about 70 metres around from the Westies goal.
Nice movement by Westies, but just a little bit high, that kick from Scott Lewis. Luke Jericho not able to pull the ball in, and Eagles defenders disciplined, moving the ball to the forward line.
Marsh took it down to Dragicevic in the tackle. Got a loose hand pass out. Ball eventually close to the boundary. We'll get a ball up now. Tim Pfeiffer, the umpire, quickly coming in.
Just on that other game at Noarlunga, Neil, South's record-winning margin against Norwood is 88 points, so they're well in front of that already, and there are 11 goals in the second quarter, the most they've ever kicked in a quarter against Norwood.
Stephen suggested when we gave a half-time score, that's usually the type of score you expect from Norwood over South Adelaide. And certainly in the last, 20 years or so.
A real changing of the guard, isn't it? And the Redlegs are certainly have a bit of soul-searching to do.
He's finished with the wooden spoon last year for the first time since 1968. Fancy that Matthew Stokes might be finding it hard to stay awake down there. Looks very comfortable, well, sort of, save for that ice that's on his injured hamstring. Off the ground, Piacenti, inside 50, Dragicevic, nice gather off the left foot, not the greatest of kicks, in fact, could hardly have been worse, out on the full.
Once again, just terrific pressure by the Eagles. Dragicevic, a nice gather, but he had players all over him.
He's worked pretty hard, Dragicevic, to try and get something through the midfield going. Good mark by Westbrook. Just continues to grow as a player. His kick forward, looking for Stevens. Stevens will get a free kick. Advantage will be paid to Mackenzie. Now, was that advantage? Umpire may just call it back. He's given a free kick, a ticky touch. But
I think he knew he made the mistake with the advantage, so he's pulled out the most ticky touch free kick I've ever seen.
Surely you don't do that as an umpire. West Adelaide through Slattery, and the kick wasn't good to Dre. He's got some work to do against Sikalella, and was good enough to get it to Purchase right on the line. Kept it in nicely. Found himself in some space, Purchase, then ran into trouble. Good enough to get it to Lewis. Lewis's kick down the line, looking for Dragicevic, but the boundary line will beat all players. And Dragicevic taking a dive toward the line. Boundary throw-in. Just too many possessions to 50-50 contest, West Adelaide.
And the Eagles are just prepared to work across and support their teammates. There's always 3 Eagles, 2 West Adelaide, or 2 Eagles, 1 West Adelaide.
Get it here.
Loose ball taken by Piacenti. Got around Treby all right. Just a helicopter. Just a nobody in the end. Peter Fiacci. His kick. Looking for Sikalella. That ball just carries him, and Purchase will bring it back in. Mark Soderstrom, bit of a change down there on the boundary.
Michael, early on we talked about Ron Fuller having an embarrassment of riches. Well, now he's just able to rotate his tall forwards. Mark Stevens coming off for a rest, and he has been replaced by Day Ellis. Back to centre-half forward has been picked up by Ben Dre.
Stevens having a rest to see if they can have a surge in the last quarter, Stephen Williams, to see if they can get over the line.
Well, I suppose he's a player that's had some bad injuries over the last few seasons, so it's probably not a bad idea just to give him a bit of a breather, and he can come back at three-quarter time and really make a hard run for the line.
Peter Fiacci, as the ball falls into his hands, forward of the pack. Chubb got his man away from the ball. Well done by the veteran, I guess you'd call him. The West Adelaide defender gets it towards the line, not quite over the line. Ellis picks it up, belts it back in there again. Here's trouble if Watts can get it. No, he can't. Just out of bounds. Fergus Watts looks around and thinks, but for a few metres, I would have been on there. As Westies with a double change.
A couple of big-name players, Ben Marsh and Dean Howard, sent to the bench, and replacing them is Murray Tamblin, the ex-Central District Bulldog, and also Matty Illman, who's trying to head down to the ruck in time.
Well, he won't get it, or maybe just Chubb fell to ground. Dre, a left-footer, so that's why he gave the hand pass. Lewis, the kick was awful. Passador swung around 360 and then some. Hand pass away to Watts. Take it to ground, Fergus Watts holding the ball, said the umpire, and that will not make Fergus's day.
Not a happy boy, but I think a fair decision. He tried to break the tackles, ducked his head, and was tackled clearly inside of play, so fair decision, umpire.
Champion to Dragicevic. Still inside the defensive area. Dragicevic with the worm burner of a kick. Not the greatest of things to do to your teammate Piacenti. As a result, through comes Sikalella to Peter Fiacci, up in front of goals. And they all fly. Inkster almost over the top, roved at the front. Westbrook taking the ground immediately. Porplesia was in there. And now it's come loose to McKenzie. Off a step, wide, out on the full. And Slattery will take the free kick for West Adelaide. Just a scrappy period of play, the last 5 minutes or so. And almost a highlight of this afternoon for Inkster as he flew high, then crashed to turf without the ball.
Just about limped out a shot there, Inkster. Norman, this has been a pretty ordinary third quarter of football, 3 goals to 1. Here goes Inkster. He normally takes those. Norman's long kick just to a packed situation. Front square, Porplesia. They haven't got too much out of Porplesia. He booted 4 last week. He hasn't had that much of it. Pettigrew. He's a class player. He's going to be a long-term player. Michael Pettigrew just got around a couple. Tends to hang on to the ball a little bit long for my liking, but just booted it forward. At least he's getting the pill. That's the main thing. Hamblin, who's back on the ground. Jericho just about took it out of his hands. Needs to screw it back. He did so. Very, very high kick. Prokopek sits under it. Pedler went the punch. Terrific play. He's had a day out, Pedler. Floriani got a nest of eagles on the outer side. Nathan Bock. Good tackle over there by Lewis. Ball just jars towards Glover. Wiggins in pretty hard. Treby needs to use Bock. A good handball. They're just messing around with it. This third quarter's been a bit of a shocker. Pedler, his kick was smothered, or touched I should say, as Glover goes into the pocket and finds Jericho. And for the game's sake, Luke, go back and slot it. Just found a bit of space, Luke Jericho, and will shoot from around 35 metres out. Well, now we'll get the distance. It's a thumping kick. Luke Jericho, who did just the one this afternoon. Good looking kick. I think he's popped it through. Lovely goal by Luke Jericho, and the margin's back to 50 points.
Yeah, Luke Jericho has certainly provided a bit of spark up forward for West Adelaide, and I think becomes their first multiple goal scorer. So some good tackling by their forwards, holding the ball in the area and receiving this pass. It was a nice set shot for goal.
2 1/4 for Luke Jericho. Just shows the effectiveness, though, of the Eagles' method of attack. They've kicked 3-1 this quarter to 2-3 from Westies.
So good to see Westies fighting the game out, making it a little bit harder for the Eagles, but certainly the class of the Eagles shines out.
O'Hara over the top. Illman, his opponent, fighting on the ground. It comes to Illman eventually. Just toe pokes a ball out of there. Nice take by Malinowski, and he's off. Off to the races. Malinowski approaches 50. From 49 metres, he shoots terribly and misses everything. Just lucky that that ball bounced inside the line. And there is an example, Stephen, of lacking skills or direction out of the middle.
Yeah, just a young player that's he certainly showed a lot, just some good signs, but needed to straighten his body up a little bit there, just trying to kick across his body and not quite middling the ball. But if nothing else, Westies, a couple of their younger players certainly have shown some signs that they're going to be quality players over the next few seasons.
Illman just couldn't get it away from O'Hara, who knocked it forward. Sikalola, good poise under pressure as always. Just a hand pass off to Floriani. Floriani's kick not the best. Backing back champion, that was brave. Going to ground though, releases Passador. Passador took it, gave it to Ellis. Ellis, nice vision, found Colville. Colville can go up inside 50. He does so, and that was high according to the umpire and late. Pettigrew was the offender.
Once he gets rid of it, you can't touch it. He got rid of it there's a big difference between when he got rid of it and you hit it.
That's line ball.
Not a lot in it, is it? I'm not sure if the umpires paid it after disposal or around the neck, but Michael Pettigrew was probably committed to that and had to follow through with the tackle.
It'll be a free kick every time.
I don't know about that, umpire, but I would have thought that it wasn't that high and it wasn't that late. But anyway, Inkster says thank you very much, and he has another goal. And the Eagles merrily on their way. Tim Inkster has 4 for the afternoon.
We've certainly seen it time and time again today where the Westies side has worked so hard to get a goal, and the Eagles have just gone straight down and kicked one to probably snuff out any resistance that West Adelaide had hoped to offer.
Well, we talk about home ground advantages. The Eagles have won their past 8 games before this, and at the Woodville Oval, and naturally they will go to a record of 9 wins in a row after this afternoon.
It's certainly a nice feeling to have as the home side, that you know when you do play on your home ground that you play well, and opposition sides don't like travelling down to Woodville.
4 goals to 2 in this term by the Eagles in a lacklustre term. Piacenti, and there's the siren for three-quarter time. Well, West Adelaide worked pretty hard. There's David Piacenti, who is really struggling with that hip injury. Full marks to him for continuing to battle on. But it's all the Eagles at Woodville. They lead at three-quarter time, 16-8, 104. West Adelaide, 7-6, 48. To come home and make a real game of this. They'll kick to left of screen. Umpire didn't like the way he bounced it. Taken by Slattery. A real long kick to half forward. Jericho was in there. No one could take the mark. Good work by Robert Fiacci. Just lost possession of the football. How did he get rid of it? The umpire said he threw it. And a free kick and possibly an opening goal. And an early goal. Have come back, and it'll be Dragicevic who'll have a shot from 30 metres out directly in front. This would be the start that Sean Wren would be dreaming about for this last quarter. Mark Dragicevic has worked pretty hard today. The former Richmond player leans back on the kick, and he's missed it. Well, you just need to kick those. If you play at AFL footy, or you play at this level of football, you can't miss them from 30 metres out directly in front.
No, disappointing. As you said, Mark has had a pretty good day today, just starting to come to terms with the pace of SANFL footy, and I'm sure as the season progresses, he's going to be pretty important for the Bloods.
Unfortunate injury history for Mark Dragicevic, but let's hope he has a good run in the SANFL as Treby takes the mark. Off to Colville, the captain for the Eagles. Down towards half forward. Westbrook was in there roving. Hand pass comes forward to the plate. And now this should be another goal. Westbrook. Oh, it's too easy. Eagles just brilliantly under control from the back line, sweeping the ball forward. And it was actually Simmons, was it, who finished the job.
Yeah, Dale Simmons, he's looked impressive, hasn't he? He's only 19 years of age. 2 previous games coming into today, so another young player the Eagles are bringing through their ranks. Instead of probably recruiting guys from interstate, they're pushing their juniors up and certainly getting the benefit from that.
Work by Simmons, and that's the difference. On the run from 30, a goal. Set shot from 30, Dragicevic misses. It's blown out to 61 points. Powell had a couple of goes at that, finally got it to Passador, away to Colville. Colville will look for Inkster, got a nudge, front and square, Glover, taken to ground, ball held to that player, and a ball up, but the Eagles really pushing forward. They've got the pedal down. Percentage will be very important at the end of the SANFL season. Umpire throwing it up, Slattery liked his game, although he's turned it over here to Passador, who'll pump the Eagles back inside 50. Watts has given a couple of leads, goes to the pocket. Stevens is back on for this last quarter. He's waited for the Stevens lead, and the kick was terrific. And the mark from Stevens in front of his face was typical Mark Stevens.
Yeah, just very strong, isn't he? When he gets that first look at the ball, there was no way he was going to drop that. Pretty hard for Ben Dre to knock that one away, but they've just been terrific today, the Eagles. So many options up forward, and Mark Stevens probably had 20-odd possessions. Moggy will tell us shortly, but he certainly had a good day out. 7 marks, 17 possessions.
Very close to 20. And Mark Stevens from 20 metres out will go at his 3rd goal. Never in doubt. Well, you'd officially say that Mark Stevens is back in town, and that's not a bad return from a bloke who's playing at centre-half forward.
No doubt about that. He's obviously got to work pretty hard to get himself back into the Crows side, but I'm sure the Eagles are very happy to have him playing for them. And we talked about the Eagles. They haven't recruited a lot of players this year, and they're probably benefiting it from the fact that everybody knows each other, they know how each other plays, and their cohesion certainly has been a lot better than Westies, with probably 4 or 5 new guys that don't know how the club plays just yet.
Mark Stevens only his 14th SANFL game this afternoon, and in round 3 he kicked 2 goals 5, so kicking boots on a bit better this afternoon. Passador working his way through traffic. Little hand pass out. McKenzie was clever. Treby, he's a left footer on his right foot. Not too bad. Just puts it in front of Stevens. Stevens to ground, flicks up the hand past Treby. Running for him was Colville. It didn't get that far. It will now. Ben Dre tried to find the line. Now Stevens looks, checks, decides on the long hand pass to Powell. Powell then turned. Behind him he's got Floriani. Quickly squares it. Fiacci takes, runs. Peter Fiacci, long, high, looking for a mark. Passador was the man he was aiming for, and nicely done at the back there by Champion. Clears the way out towards centre wing. Not the greatest of kicks. Dragicevic was late, pulling Westbrook to the ground. He takes off. Kick wasn't the best, and Purchase took the ball.
Another one of the young guns for West Adelaide that certainly showed enough today to say that he's going to be pretty good as the season progresses.
Purchase now waiting. Had to set it up. Wiggins will come from behind. Brings it to ground. No. Well done, Wiggins. Took possession of it. Hand pass to Malinowski. Then it turned to Slattery. From 40 metres, Slattery has a shot at goal. And Westies have finished the job.
Much better from the Bloods, wasn't it? Some real play on quick. Some quick movement into the forward line, and a nice finish off there for West Adelaide. Just looking at it there, just a great handball by Malinowski and Slattery. Good skills running into an open goal, slotting a pretty simple goal in the end.
And just if they can get the ball down to Wiggins quickly, that's the key to it. He'll give you a contest, pretty much like Luke Cowan for Central District. At centre-half forward, they'll give you a contest every time.
He does recover well when the ball hits the ground. He's just not a marking player. He can follow it up, and certainly was the goal assist player in that movement.
Good reward for Slattery, who's been amongst the Bloods' best this afternoon.
He's their top ball getter today with 17.
Love it when you back me up, Moggy. Taken by Powell to McKenzie. Out to Stevens. Dre did well. Stuck to his guns, Ben Dre, but then threw it on the boot. And they found that man, Peter Fiacci, who's been terrific for them. Treby, his last couple of handballs have missed targets. He's been a bit casual, Lee Treby. Here comes Slattery and Powell. But Slattery kept his eye on the football, couldn't quite hold it. And there's Ronnie Fuller, be happy with a 61-point lead at this stage.
Peter Fiacci's rebound has been wonderful coming off that half-back line, just getting the ball on as quick as possible and putting Westies under pressure for the whole match.
Peter Fiacci's the top player on the ground with 25 possessions.
Worked very hard. Lindsay, wobbly old kick inside 50. Stevens will look to give it off. Well done, Dre. Ball just held to him. Umpires have been pretty good today. Thought they've handled this match reasonably well. There'll always be a couple of contentious ones.
Keep the eyes on the footy here, guys. Around the footy too.
And plenty of talk, keeping the players informed. Be tough to bounce that ball. Slattery away to Glover, who hasn't had much of it today, Glover. But this man, Westbrook, just keeps getting better with every game we see him.
He's been great, hasn't he? He's just had a wonderful game, whether running forward or playing across half-back. Terrific effort for the Eagles.
Just off the ball, Dragicevic for West Adelaide has got the cramp. High kick, Floriani. He's got a fair bit of real estate out there to work within, John Floriani. Let's see who he picks out. He looks for and finds Passador. Passador just continues to bob up on the forward line. Another one of those options, Stephen, that just seems to have a free run around half forward.
Yeah, the bigger players are very mobile. They're not the big dinosaur that can only go for the mark. They certainly have some movement, and there's a lot of options for the Eagles side to look for.
Here's Dragicevic off the ground. I think it was Cramp. We'll get Mark Soderstrom onto it as Passador will kick from right on the 50. Will it have the legs? It's gone through as Fergus Watts tried to con the umpire there, but are behind to the Eagles. They're out to 62 points.
Certainly been a good day for the Eagles. 62 points up so far, and clearly look the dominant side in the competition so far this season.
Early in the competition, though, here's Treby ducking, in trouble. He's gone, you would think. No, ball comes loose. Simmons gave it across to Colville. He sat it up. Stevens in the middle of the pack. Ball to ground. Nicely rode. Brugalo, another goal. No, just missed.
Good roving by Vinny. We're watching the replay, just getting in the right spot for a small forward, and almost the perfect finish. Just the wind taking away at the last minute.
He loves a goal, Vinny, to be dirty on that.
Well, that's a good sign of a good half forward, isn't it? Just wants to kick goals, and very competitive young man across that forward line.
He's had 11 and 6 after spending the first 20 minutes on the bench.
Was the leading goal kicker last season with just 38 for the Eagles.
It's a good spread for the Eagles, though. Inkster and Passador and Rugolo, all amongst the goals. Luke Norman, just about timed out. Long kick to a contest. Up goes Chubb before acceptances. Simmons in there. Umpire said in the side. Slattery, another possession for him. Over the top to Lewis. Lewis just got a bit of the fumbles, maybe a bit of fatigue. The young man's been running pretty hard all day.
Get it out, get it out!
In goes Rugolo again. Umpire giving them plenty of opportunity to knock the ball out.
Good work, guys.
But 118 plays 55 at Woodville Oval as the Eagles continue their run. They've really come back from that grand final smashing. There's a bit of work done to the calves of Mark Dragicevic on the boundary. Another chance for Slattery, nowhere to go, and that's deliberately out of bounds. But I tell you what, Stephen, you're a harsh umpire if you give that out deliberately. Had no real estate to work with at all.
No option at all there. Good decision just to allow the boundary umpire to restart play.
Lindsay and Marsh. Marsh just found a way to knock it to Nathan, who hasn't had much of it either. Some of the more experienced players have been missing in action today. This man hasn't been missing in action, Peter Fiacci. Everything he's done's turned to gold. Watts has got it for the Eagles. Loads up a long, high kick. Stevens does the push and shove, and Norman, 2-on-1, and Norman takes the mark and relieved for Westings.
Forgettable game number 100 for Luke Norman, you'd think, as the ball goes to centre wing. Leading the chase is Colville. He's got a player in support if he can get it to him. He can. It's Watts. Well done. Watts now in turn to Floriani. Tight in there on the boundary line. Floriani knocks it forward. Passador got the arms free. Well done. Couldn't find Rugolo with the ball. It's out of bounds there on the far side of the ground.
Players are starting to get tired, aren't they? It's 11 minutes into the final quarter. It's been good conditions, but after 2 or 3 pretty tough weeks in the heat, certainly taking its toll on the players.
Yes, up in the mid to high 30s last week and the week before in Adelaide. Here's Lewis. Here's Norman. And Norman misses with the hand pass. It has not been a great afternoon for Luke Norman, has it?
It hasn't. No, he struggled a little bit, but I think one of the real features of the Eagles has been the way they want to share the ball. There's not one player that wants to take everybody on. They just use the player in the best position. It's a sign that the team certainly has good harmony and working together well.
O'Hara did well, worked his way clear and then punched it to McKenzie. The hand pass was excellent. Rugolo forward of the play. Another goal coming up, and that time it was Westbrook. Was it? Yes, it was.
Got your man.
So Westbrook gets a goal, and the Eagles just cruising away. And again, a repeat, they are averaging 132 points a game, number 1 in the competition this season, and 37 scoring shots in a game. So they're close to both those figures this afternoon.
And just another example of just the unselfish play. Players not trying to beat tackles, but just releasing the ball, getting it out in the clear to the player in the best position. And David Westbrook's had a great day, 2 goals, lots of possessions.
7 marks, 11 kicks.
Will he have an AFL future, do you think, David Westbrook?
Well, he's only a young man, isn't he? He's, 20 years old, so I'm sure a lot of people are taking some notice of him.
The last couple of seasons he's put together have been pretty good. So too this man, O'Hara, who uses Powell on the wing for the Eagles. Kicks long, Glover v Rugolo. Glover's clever, and his poise is terrific. Over to Slattery, who had to run with a flight. In goes Simmons. Been impressed with the way he's attacked the football, young Simmons, only a 19-year-old for Woodville West Torrens. It's been okay for them. Mind you, it's easy to play in this Eagles side at the moment if you're 10, 11 goals up.
Yeah, they've just got some quality senior players that certainly read the game well and have great skills to certainly make it easy for the younger guys.
Glover, Watts, gave Illman a nudge. The umpire said that's fair enough, and Big Fergus will be happy with that. It's been up forward and down back so far. Pretty flexible performer for the Eagles, Fergus Watts.
Taking 7 marks today, 12 possessions.
A reasonable day. Kick to a pack situation. Up goes Ellis. Couldn't take it. Glover. Short half-distance kick. Did it go the 15? There's that measuring tape again. Tim Pfeiffer, the man, saying that's okay. Floriani to Ellis inside the centre square. Dropped the ball. A little bit funny, but Norman, oh, he did get up a little bit there, the skipper, to take a nice mark to poor Pleasure, who spots Marsh, who's just running up and down on the one spot at the moment, Ben Marsh. and just hacks it off the ground, out of bounds on the full. That's a tired play from a tired player.
It was, yeah. I think for a player of the ability of Ben Marsh, Westies should expect and get a lot more out of him. He's just wonderfully athletic, tall, great skills. He should be a dominant player in this competition.
Ellis loads it up again. Norman opposed to Westbrook. Westbrook went early, couldn't take the mark. Now Lewis. Oh, Floriani came from 1.5 yards behind Malinowski and just got to the front very effectively. Floriani inside 50. Stevens comes this time across the front. Nice mark taken by Champion. Stevens left on the ground, but breathe a sigh of relief, Crows fans. He's just a little bit tired at this stage of the day. Here's Chubb on the half-back flank, looks across. Nothing much to kick to. Chubb just goes long. Inkster going back with the flight, took a nice mark. Running was Joe Pedler. Pedler down to Ellis. Ellis, well, Marsh looked like he came over the mark. Ellis then wrapped up Chubb, who just couldn't wrap up the ball. Still, it's in dispute. It comes out to Marsh. Marsh does well to try and get something free. Finally, it bursts free. Hand pass comes over the top to Sikalella. Clean bowls him. Comes back to Westbrook. Should kick a goal from here, and he does. 3 goals for the afternoon to Westbrook. And the Eagles are just cruising home.
Just far too easy, wasn't it? We saw Chubb take the mark and just had nobody running. All the Westies players were just standing, nobody run past, and he just had to blast the ball long to the Eagles' half-back line. They just swooped the ball up, ran it back in, and David Westbrook won't have an easier goal this season than that one.
Just reward for hard running from Westbrook, and that's what he does week in, week out.
The whole Eagles side, they just run hard for each other, and that's a wonderful attribute to have as a side.
75 points, a real blowout here at Woodville Oval. Marsh in the ruck against O'Hara. Peter Fiacci. John Floriani, who missed out on last year's grand final side, really trying to make an imprint in this team. Colville. Inkster on the wing, a long way from goal. There's loose men everywhere for the Eagles. Treeby will pump them inside 50 again. Good kick. Ellis at the back, and a mark in the middle of Stevens. Pack mark in the middle of that with his teammates coming over the top. That is an exceptional grab.
It was a great grab, but we saw Wade Champion there looking to mark the ball. And as a defender, you would just like to see the big punch there, not taking any chances, particularly with the quality of Mark Stevens in the contest.
Stevens actually, I was watching him behind the play. He went to lead and he tripped over and went to ground, got up, got in the middle of that pack and took the mark.
Sticky fingers. Exceptionally strong. He'll kick from 20 metres out directly in front for his fourth. And it's home. This is a blowout. 81 points the lead now to the Eagles. And not much for Sean Wren to gain in the last part of this last quarter, Stephen.
No, it's disappointing, isn't it? That's almost like Westies to put up the white flag. They're 81 points behind now, and you know, there's a fair chance they could be beaten by over 100 if they don't put up a bit of a fight in this last, at least probably 15 minutes.
The Eagles have demonstrated clearly they're far from a spent force in the SANFL after the disappointment of last year's grand final and losses in 2000 and 2001 to Central District in the decider. They are, at this point, a club on a mission. O'Hara, the first touch. Ben Marsh had one touch there. Inkster had a touch as well. Finally, it's cleared by Slattery. Illman couldn't trap the ball. Powell could, but he's grabbed by Wiggins. Play on was the call. Comes down to Lewis, couldn't break the tackle. Solid stuff from the Eagles, and finally they'll spring the ball through hand. No, they won't. Westies come back. Oh, that was high. Umpire said play on, and well, holding the ball. Perseus would feel robbed by that. It looked certainly like he was taken high, but Floriani ultimately gets the free kick.
Had a great quarter, John Floriani, hasn't he? Had the ball on a string.
Would you say Purchase was short change, Neil?
Yeah, very good. Here's Bock. He's wide. Fergus Watts, this man has looked good in defence, hasn't he? Goes up to half forward. Simmons brings the ball to ground. Port Pleasure kicked 4 goals in the last quarter to virtually win the match for Westies against Norwood last week, and he's barely had a touch this afternoon. Ball to ground over the back. Stevens will knock it on if he can. He does, but Chubb gets in there and intercepts. He goes for the boundary line. Follows up his own hand pass. Chris Chubb, hard-working man from the Riverland. So's Fiachi, hard-working. Gets it forward. Treby on the ground into Rugolo. Now Chubb again. First option was a hand pass and straight to the line, and the umpire says free kick. Well, I thought that was a bit rude as well, but anyway.
Don't often see that paid in the SANFL, but I think the umpires have just got on the bandwagon now.
Ticked into time on as Paul Lindsay looking to come back on for a final run. Peter Fiachi with the ball on the far side of the Woodville Oval, just chips it over the top to Sikalella. Sikalella with pinpoint skills, no exception. Inkster presented himself and he said, I want it here. And Sika knew how to deliver.
They've just been very well drilled, the Eagles. They know how to keep space in their forward line. They know when to lead. And just the work rate. Peter Fiachi has just worked his heart out today, and the game's well and truly over, but he's just pushing as hard as he can just to get as many possessions as he can.
Which is 29.
Inkster, again, that run up, and just got the distance. That's over the line for 22nd goal of the afternoon to the Eagles. And they stretch their lead to 87 points and 5 goals for Tim Inkster.
Yeah, 5 goals, what a wonderful effort. But when you think Inkster's got 5, Ellis has got 4, Stevens has got 4, Westbrook's got 3, it hasn't just been that one player, and that's probably the strength of the Eagles. They just have so many forward options, and I think probably the classiest group of forwards in it that any SANFL club has.
10 marks, 17 possessions for Tim Inkster.
A couple of supporters leaving the ground. Surely West Adelaide supporters. Fiachi, it's out to 87 points. It's been an absolute massacre. Powell on the wing. Been terrific through the midfield, Luke Powell. A couple of bounces and punts it inside. That very busy 50, forward 50. Treby couldn't take it with him. Norman just knocked it away. Chubb working overtime. Nathan uses Slattery, who uses Marsh. Lewis got the staggers to Jericho, who's got some pace. He's been wasted up there at half forward. Hasn't had much of the footy. Over the top of a couple of players. Pedler, good tackle by Wiggins. How did he get rid of that? What's your decision? It goes to Floriani. Fiachi and the Eagles out of trouble. Powell, well, he can afford the kick to go over his head about 15 metres. Looks for Ellis. Oh, that's a bit dangerous by Pettigrew. In fact, it's Fergus Watts on the outer side. Watts honours the lead of Ellis, crashes the back. Lewis was the man who got in front, very courageous. Champion looks up. What does he see? He sees Jericho, who's at half forward for the Bloods.
Look, Jericho looks inside. Wiggins, who's at full forward, comes on the lead, misjudges. Nathan Bock doesn't, and Bock breaks away. A couple of bounces through half back. He looks up, nothing much to kick to, goes for distance, lovely kick. Ellis made room, just ran off Chubb, and that'll be 25 metres. No, Ellis inside 50, loose, very loose was Colville. Just too much run, the Eagles, and they are flying at the moment.
That's your light, mate. He's on the light now.
They sure are. Just the ability to win the ball in the back half and transfer it into their forward line without the opposition touching the ball has been a feature.
And Gavin Colville has made his second mistake for the day. The other one was a kick at goal that went out on the full, and he was in the same pose then. Head in the hands. What have I done? Chris Chubb with the turnover. Goes for Illman. Illman, the former basketballer. And the ball on the ground. Umpire will come in just inside the centre square and call for it. 87 points the margin. It's been a massacre. The Eagles have torn apart the Bloods. And on their winning way, they face their nemesis from last year's grand final on Anzac Day in their next match, Central District. They'll be at the Adelaide Oval. We'll have that match on Anzac Day from 3 o'clock live. You heard the umpire's ruling there, no attempt to knock it out at all. Tim Inkster with the resulting free kick. And Inkster looks up and Westbrook comes from the square. He doesn't go in that direction. He goes to Stevens, off the chest of Stevens. He drew two to him. That left McKenzie free to kick a goal.
Well, we talked about that 100-point mark, didn't we? And the Eagles are certainly going to get very close to it. Mark McKenzie's had another great day as well. He's probably a little unobtrusive as a midfielder, but he's very smart, and his ability to set play up has been wonderful today. And Moggy will let us know what he's had, but he's had a pretty impressive day.
Yes, he has, Stephen. 10 kicks, 5 handballs. This is the Eagles' biggest ever score and win over West Adelaide.
7 goals to 1 quarter in favour of the Eagles. Mark McKenzie, his first goal of the afternoon. Tim Inkster's booted forward. And the Eagles pretty much at full strength. Lindsay down, Powell. Can't get it through. Marsh. Slattery. In goes Powell with precision. Just the one grab. It's the way the Eagles have been today. Inkster just works Glover inside out. Up goes Ellis. Not paid the mark. Champion did okay, held his ground. Ellis recovered well. This is Westbrook. The way the Eagles' day has gone, could have floated through for a goal. They're 94 points in front. All they need is one more goal to make that magic 100.
Just the second effort here of Dale Ellis. Just a great effort to mark the ball, but then his recovery was wonderful for a big man, just to get the ball out and give the Eagles another opportunity to score.
Probably got about 3 minutes to kick that goal that Michael mentioned. That'll take it to the 3-figure margin. Sharp looked to have pushed Rugolo. Rugolo takes it in under, and umpire Tim Pfeiffer comes in, says, well, don't know. He pulled that ball back in, but the hands in there from Illman as well probably saved Vinny Rugolo. Marsh with the tap down. Slattery did well, a conjuring trick. Got the ball from behind his back. Kicked forward. Malinowski just handballed it forward. Hamblin couldn't take it. Colville did. He shoveled it out. It was a throw. Joe Pedler with the kick forward. Now they'll run. The Eagles have got another chance. Ciccolello with the most awkward of kicks. McKenzie couldn't pull it in. Now he can. Hand pass out to Inkster, who's on his left leg. Chose to do it the hard way. Then he lines it up. Kicks it to Ellis. Ellis lines it up. And 100 points is the margin.
But it's certainly been one of those days, hasn't it? 5 to Dale Ellis. Just his work around the forward line has been great today, but it's been one of those days. Everything's gone right for the Eagles, but they certainly have worked hard and made the most of their opportunities.
It's now a bigger margin than either the Eagles' antecedent clubs, Torrens or Woodville, ever managed against Westies.
What a day out for Woodville West Torrens. Savour these moments. Sean Wren, 5 straight to Dale Ellis. 3 last week. So all is rosy down here at Woodville. 100 points the difference. Rugolo thumps it forward for the Eagles, taken by Jericho, who's gone back to provide some resistance. No free kick to Willman against Watts. Thought he might have just got a nudge there, but Watts is allowed to go on with it.
Certainly got better as the days progressed, Fergus Watts, starting to look quite a competent player across that half-back line.
There's the siren. A comprehensive battering by the Eagles of West Adelaide. Full time in this round 4 match. The Eagles 24-11, 155 have crunched West Adelaide 8-7-55.
Woodville. 2 quick tests for you.
Give it a go.
The number of Ralphie Sewer, please.
Ralphie Stewart was number 3 when he was at Woodville. He was number 14 at the Tigers, though.
All right, I was just talking about Woodville.
Okay.
What about Bennett from South Adelaide?
Michael Bennett, he was number 2. A good footballer he was too.